Hello and welcome to another instalment of our very special Rock Sound Awards powered by EMP.co.uk. I'm Will Cross, junior editor at the magazine, the host of our regular weekly Friday podcast. Right, before we do anything else, in case you don't know, we're a few days in now. Awards.rocksound.tv is the place to be to pick up your Rock Sound Awards bundle, featuring 10 exclusive limited edition covers of all 10 of our Rock Sound Awards winners, featuring exclusive interviews, photos, posters from their Rock Sound Awards cover shoots, a 2018 calendar, Rock Sound Awards sticker, the top 50 releases of 2017, so much more. So exciting. The Rock Sound Awards powered by EMP.co.uk, awards.rocksound.tv is the place to be right now. But now, it's time for another feature-length chat with another one of our winners. And oh man, we love this band so much. So today, we speak to our best British band Rock Sound Award winners. This band put out an album this year that blew everyone away. They've had a year that's just seen them get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's been insane to witness. I remember this band when they'd literally just formed, and now they're selling out huge venues across the world. It's neck deep, and we caught up with Mr. Ben Barlow to talk everything 2017, the Peace and the Panic, selling out things like Brixton Academy, doing so well on things like Warped Tour, and of course, becoming the biggest British band in rock since Bring Me the Horizon. So here we go to our very special chat with Ben Barlow of our best British band Rock Sound Awards winners, neck deep. Here we go. I'd like to present to you guys the Rock Sound Best British Band Award. It's been a crazy year. How does it feel to have received the award?
Yeah, it's an honour, you know. Even if it was just if we were just considered, we would have been very happy, you know. Obviously, there are a ton of amazing British bands out there, but to be, you know, crowned best of is it's quite an honour. So yeah, very happy. Yeah, that's amazing. Very thankful.
Fantastic. Cool. So I just wanted to have a chat then about the year as a whole, really. A bit about the album and then, you know, the tours and everything that's been surrounding it. So to kick off, Peace and the Panic's absolutely sent things into the stratosphere for Neck Deep. How's it felt to be in the eye of the storm? Has it been amazing? Has it been overwhelming? Like both at the same time? Like how's it felt to be right in the centre of all that?
Yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind. To kind of quote one of our own songs, like an asshole. It's been a hell of a ride, but it's all kind of caught up with me, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been amazing. It has. I mean, even since, you know, the day the band started, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and now to be kind of doing the things that we're doing we're getting into dreamland territory here. I think. I don't think you know. I don't think we would have imagined that we'd be where we are now, and so that's good. I mean, it's funny. We obviously just sold out Brixton and the Apollo, and our manager actually made a bet with us a couple of years ago. I think it was after the Blink show that we played. He was like, "I'll put money on the fact that you will headline and sell out Brixton in the next couple of years," and we did. So, yeah, the fact that that's actually happening, and now, you know, it makes you think that we can go on and do bigger and better things. And, you know, Neck Deep have never really been one to get caught up in the whirlwind. We've always kind of had our sights set on bigger and better things at all times. And that's no different now, you know. We're not going to, now that we've, you know, done some amazing things and played some, you know, landmark shows, that doesn't mean that we're going to slow down by any means. So yeah, you know, we thrive in the hurricane. Got to roll with the hurricane, man. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. 'Cause, as well, last time we spoke on the podcast, you know, we chatted a bit about you saying that Life's Not Out to Get You was a kind of period of uninterrupted happiness, and going into the Peace and the Panic was much more difficult. It felt like, you know, you were maybe sort of the things where you were having to grow up very fast. Like, was it quite a difficult period at the very start? You know, when you were putting the tracks down, did it feel overwhelming at any point in an emotional sense?
Not for a minute. When we started writing, I think we were pretty good. We were pretty focused. You know, we were confident. We left a lot of time for ourselves to be able to write and to adapt and to change and to do all that kind of stuff. But then. Then my dad passed away, and that definitely kind of allowed me to become more emotionally invested in the record. I mean, I never struggled for a direction, but when that happened, it was immediately like, well, I know where I'm going to be coming from on this record, you know? So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a struggle at points. Definitely writing songs like 1970 something, Wish You Were Here, Where Do We Go. I was very emotionally invested in those songs, and in all of them really. I think more so than a lot of our previous records. Like you said, with Life That I Had to Get You, that was it was a very, very, very positive record, which was which is showing of kind of what we were going through as a band at the time, and this record I think does that again. Maybe not so much with the positive, so much of the positive aspect, but in a way, like I said, I've said it a lot, but like Neck Deep, we always just write based on what's around us, what we're going through. Music has always been an outlet for not only our creativity, but for it's been an emotional outlet as well. And yeah, I was very emotionally invested in this record, and I think that's one of the things that maybe shines through with the record, and that fans have picked up on the most, is just how much emotion's in there, and I've had fans say they feel like they know me a little bit better now. They know us a little bit better now. They kind of they understand us a little bit better now, and they can relate to us as people a lot better now, which is great. And I don't think that was necessarily the intention. The intention was to get some stuff off my chest, but if it means that people can kind of connect with us a bit more on a personal and an emotional level, then that's great, because we always want to emotionally engage with our fans. I think that's where the best music often comes from, is when you're emotionally invested in it, or when you're kind of when you can kind of pick up on the emotion of it. So yeah, absolutely, very emotionally invested in the record, but I think that was for the best, really.
Yeah, definitely. No, it really does shine through in the songs. And I mean, as well, like you said in our cover feature, you said that maybe that you were a little green in how you viewed the world around the Life's Not Out to Get You cycle. In terms of going through all that, then, and putting all that into songs and getting all of that off your chest, do you feel much more kind of equipped now and kind of experienced and not so green anymore?
A little bit, yeah. I'm always the eternal optimist. Bit of a realist, though. Bit of an idealist, you know what I mean? I always just want the best out of things, and I think I'll always be that way. But yeah, I think as you grow up, you kind of, and I don't want to say pessimistic, because I don't think it is a pessimistic. I think you get a bit more, you do get a bit more realistic with your expectations of the world and what you expect out of life. But as long as you have that, the idealist side of you, where you only ever want the best for yourself, I think that's what's important. And I don't think that's changed too much about Neck Deep. But yeah, we've grown up, and our fans have grown up with us. That's something that we're kind of blessed with, when we were 17, 18 writing songs, and our fans were maybe, in their teenage years struggling, as we've kind of gone into our 20s and we're learning a lot more about the world, I think our fans are doing the exact same thing too. And so that puts us in a very unique position to be able to continue to connect with our fans, and to continue to speak to fans through our music, because we always write from a situational kind of point of view, and I think having our fans kind of on side and growing up with us, they find themselves in a lot of the same situations. So I think maybe there's a lesson even to be learned from the transition from Life's Not Out to Get You into The Peace and the Panic. Is like, hey, be eternally optimistic. Want the best for yourself in life, but in that transition, you also find that, hey, maybe life is going to throw something at you occasionally, and things like death and heartbreak and things that you can't avoid. But it's all about how you deal with that, and it's still keeping that positive aspect and that optimistic outlook on life, but with a little bit more realism in there, I suppose. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all, because sometimes just overwhelming optimism can be fucking annoying. I can understand what that's like to be around, and I imagine a lot of people were probably put off by the fact that we were overly positive, and they were probably like, this is fucking annoying, I don't want to hear that, I want to hear something that speaks to me. And I think that's what's happened with this record, is we have allowed ourselves to kind of mature and become a little bit more realistic with our expectations of life, and that's something that you just realise as you're growing up.
Yeah, definitely. Because as well, from a musical perspective on the album, you took a lot of risks that really paid off. And songs like, we chatted last time about songs like In Bloom and Don't Wait, and these were real kind of new departures for the band. Was this the point where you really wanted to kind of start opening up what you could do sonically with Neck Deep in kind of all different ways?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, like we were talking about before, just as we were writing the record, what kind of, you know, did we have an idea of what direction we wanted to go in? And we didn't really, you know, we were just kind of writing as we went and kind of feeling out, you know, kind of just writing songs and seeing what happened. But yeah, that was always an intention from the start, was to at least with a couple of songs to do something a little different. Well, none of us could really put our finger on what that was and how we were going to kind of keep Neck Deep sound, keep that pop punk element, but also, you know, stretch it out a little bit to you know, maybe some more kind of more rock leaning sound, or in some elements a more pop leaning sound, and indie rock, you know, elements. And we know we wanted all that kind of sound, but it's always hard to put your finger on exactly how it's going to sound for you until records and songs start coming together. You start adding vocals, you start adding you know, different guitar layers, and you start, you know, think about the structure. Yeah, it was always an intention for us to do something different, at least on a couple of tracks, just because, you know, we are all passionate musicians, and we all do, you know, and we all listen to anything and everything. And, you know, we want to show people that we're not just a one-trick pony. You know, I feel like we nailed pop punk with Life's Not Out to Get You. I feel like we set out to write a pop punk record with that record. And with this record, we were set out to kind of redefine what Neck Deep is. And I think we absolutely did that. And now it kind of leaves us in a position where we can do almost whatever we want. You know, obviously we're not going to write a jazz fusion record, but we can go out and do something a little different, have a little bit more flavor in there if we wanted to. Or we could write another pop punk record, or we could write a heavy record, or we could write an indie record, or a rock record, or a pop record. It doesn't really matter. We're not limited in that sense anymore. And I think the Peace and the Panic has allowed us, you know, has taken away those limits.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as well, that like you say, I mean, that's led to a much more undefinable, much more complex Neck Deep. Were there nerves going into that? Because obviously everything paid off in the end. But were there nerves before people heard the songs? Like, did you feel nervous about it, or were you just totally confident in what you'd done?
Yeah, no, I'd be lying if I said we weren't nervous. Absolutely, maybe not nervous, but maybe just a little bit apprehensive. We were kind of, you know, like I said, we were all kind of uncertain about what exactly it was going to be, how this record was going to come out. We were kind of, you know, apprehensive about it, maybe a little bit anxious about it. But again, when songs start coming together, and when you start seeing the album as a full picture, and, you know, you look past just the individual songs, that's when it all, you know, that starts to ease a little bit, and you can sort of relax, and you start gaining a bit more direction with the record. But yeah, definitely apprehensive. I think any sort of change in direction for any band is going to be quite daunting. But I think if you do it in the right ways, you know, and you don't make too much of a drastic change, and you kind of can bridge that gap somehow in a way that makes sense to your fans, then I feel like that's what we were trying to do. You know, we wanted to make a change, but didn't want to lose what it was that made us Neck Deep, and I think we got that balance pretty spot on. So.
Yeah, 100%. And as well, with the album coming out, obviously huge success. You know, it was at number 2 on the Billboard chart, top 5 over here. Tours sold out across the board. Total craziness. Like, could you have ever seen that coming in the early days of the band? I mean, and even on the Life's Not Out to Get You cycle, could you have ever fathomed, you know, these amazing heights being reached?
No, definitely not. I mean, since the start of the band, we've had, you know, people saying that, you know, there's something special is happening, but we were kind of, you know, cautious. You know, we were very kind of aware of people maybe blowing a bit of smoke up our asses. We didn't want to, you know, fully just be like, hey, yeah, you know, it's almost guaranteed. So we kept a pretty realistic head on it, you know, and, you know, every tour for us since even the very first show we ever played, every tour has just been getting better and better, and I'm sure we could have walked away from every tour going, yeah, this is great. We could just do this forever. I could play those shows forever. But it seems to be just kind of getting bigger and bigger and bigger without, before you even had a chance to blink, really. And it's crazy. I really can't put my finger on it. And I obviously have people, fans and old friends and people from back home, kind of, saying how unreal it all is. And believe me, I'm right there with you. I'm just as blown away as everyone else. I'm living it. It's insane. Yeah, never ever thought that we would ever get to the level that we're at, but we're here now. And again, like I said, neck deep, we've never been one to shy away from a challenge. We've never been one to shy away from or kind of back away from progression and pushing ourselves further. So yeah, at this point, we've just got to keep riding it out and just hope that progression keeps going. But we've already achieved so much, that we never ever thought that we would. So incredibly blessed to be able to do what we do, and still constantly in a state of just what the fuck at all times, I think.
Amazing. Yeah, because you're still a very young band.
It's always kind of been pressures on and all eyes on us since we started, and I think we've kind of just learned to live with that and learned to kind of revel in the pressure. And and I think the fact that we're so young just means that we've got more time. Who knows where we're going to be in 10 years' time. And even in 10 years' time, all right, we won't be so young anymore, but we would have achieved so much in that time already that I think by that time we can kind of look back and be pretty happy with ourselves, which is hard for bands these days. It doesn't happen to everyone, and we're very, very, very lucky that it happened to us and that we've had the success that we've had. I think it just means that we can look forward to a bigger and better and brighter future, really.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome. And I mean, as well, you've done another really successful Warp Tour this year, and you've already done a lot of Warped already. Has that been a real factor in the band's success? Like, it feels like even from the first Warped, you had a real following out there, and it can be really difficult for British bands to break it over there, and it feels like you guys really have. Like, has that been a really, really important factor in the band's success, do you think?
Yes, definitely. I think a British band going over there and kind of having the success that we've had on Warped Tour is I don't know when the last band to have done that, maybe Bring Me the Horizon or something like that. Maybe it hasn't happened in a good while. And I think that's maybe one of the things that kind of surprises people about Neck Deep. From an inside and an outside perspective, I'm sure there's a ton of people who are going, how are they so big in the US? Or they look at us in the UK and they're like, whatever. But then you have all this, the success on the other side of the pond as well. And I think that's part of the kind of the not mystique, but part of the puzzle with Neck Deep is like, how the fuck have they managed to do that? And I don't really know. I can't really put my finger on it either. I think Warped Tour has definitely had a big input on that. But then again, the first time we ever went out to America was a headliner, and full US headliner, and even that was really successful for what it was. So even since day one, really, it's kind of been America and the UK have kind of been neck and neck. And again, I can't put my finger on what it is. No idea why. Maybe it's because it's pop punk and, that's an American thing. Or maybe it's my fucking voice. Maybe it's my shitty American accent has actually helped that side of the pond. I don't know. I think it could be a combination of things. But Warped Tour absolutely is amazing exposure. And it's a tour that we love doing. And we always have loved doing, and we've always had a great time on. And of course, it's legendary. It's Warped Tour. It's the crowd that you want to be playing to. And I think we've just been, lucky to be given the opportunity to do it, and lucky that our music kind of resonates with people the other side of the pond, really.
I mean, as well, in that sense as well, you guys have already started to have an influence on, bands starting up now. Like in 2017, I mean, you guys sound very unique, and you can hear elements of your sound in bands who are clearly fans of you guys. Is that a strange feeling, or is it? I mean, I guess is it a very proud feeling? Is it both?
Yeah, it's both strange, but also still a very proud feeling. I feel like we were inspired by Blink-182, Green Day, Sum 41, and if we can be the band that inspires that next wave of bands, and that's awesome. I just think the world moves a lot faster in every aspect than it ever has. And maybe whereas it was New Found Glory and Blink and Green Day 10, 20 years ago, maybe now it only needs 5 years before the next lot of bands start coming up because of taking influence from other bands. So yeah, absolutely, we've always kind of carried that very proudly, and I think there's already a couple of bands that we've met who have named songs after named their bands after Neck Deep songs and stuff like that, and I think it's awesome. A lot of them tend to be pretty young bands, but hey, if one of them ends up coming up and being really successful, and they cite us as an influence or a major influence, then yeah, that's great to be able to say that we've inspired the next wave, or maybe that band goes on to be to change people's lives. If we can say that we kind of had a part in that, then that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I'm happy to be able to carry that and to be able to inspire and pass something on to the next wave, the next generation. All for it.
That's amazing. No, as well, because you mentioned how fast the music industry moves as well now. Is there a real pressure to that? I mean, it feels like you guys are very in tune with that, and you adapt to how the music industry is kind of flying forward quite naturally. But do you still feel any pressure with that?
Yes and no. I think you've always got to be aware of it, but I think if you fear it, or if you're under pressure by it, then I think it can maybe make you question, or maybe you'll slip up, because you're playing up to other people's expectations. You're playing up to what other people expect and what other people are into. I feel like, if anything, the better position to be in is for you to be defining where it goes and where that next step is, rather than trying to kind of make a path for the next generation, or to make a path just even for yourself to be relevant in music these days. And yeah, I think the more that you worry about people's expectations or the industry's expectations or anything like that, the more you'll kind of get caught up in it. It's better to keep keep the industry on its toes rather than you be on your toes, trying to dance around other people. I think if you just say, yeah, fuck this, we're aware of it, we get it, we know how it is, but we're not going to play by those rules. We're going to do something that changes the course of things a little bit. I think and obviously, it's hard to find yourself in that position. We're lucky to be in that position where I think we can kind of guide things a little bit, but we've always been ones to just to be aware of it, of course, and to have an insight and to have some judgment on. But I think the more important thing is to be the ones making that change and to be the ones guiding bands in the industry.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think it's really important to be unique in this day and age? Then it's because we've talked about as well, how unique the Neck Deep sound has become, and especially in how saturated the music industry is now. Do you think finding that unique core to your band is the most important thing?
I think it's important. I don't necessarily think it's the most important thing. I think it is an important element for sure. Ultimately, it just comes down to writing songs that people like, writing songs that speak to people. I don't think that's fuck's sake, we had generic pop punk for a long time. We weren't trying to be anything other than a pop punk band, and we were trying to be, a shitty generic pop punk band. But as long as you write music that speaks to people, I think that's absolutely the most important thing. And that's something that we've always tried to do throughout our whole career, is make music that people can relate to and that speaks to people. And yeah, I think that's where the key lies. It's you know, it's a tough one to really put your finger on, but I think, yeah, if you can find something that makes you unique, awesome. But as long as you're writing from the heart, and as long as your music has got some soul in it, then not like the genre soul. I mean, it could, but actual soul. That's the key, guys. You need a soul influence in there. No, but as long as you're putting your heart and soul into it, I think that's what people will see, and that's what people will pick up on. As long as you're just genuine and you write music to speak to people, that I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. 'Cause as well, you know, kind of beyond all that, there's a genuine argument now to be made that outside of maybe Bring Me the Horizon, you know, Neck Deep are the biggest UK rock band around now, which is a brilliant thing. I mean, is that something that you guys ever think about yourselves, or is that just something that kind of is happening around you and you just kind of try not to think about? Like, how does that affect you as members of the band?
Wow, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's something that absolutely blows us away. You know, to say that is wow. That's again, it's something I never thought I'd be hearing. But at the same time, like, you know, as with a lot of other things, and I think the way that Neck Deep have always approached things is to not get caught up in it. If people want to say that, absolutely. But yeah, I think it's it's better, and it's more progressive for yourself and for the band to kind of not to focus on that. And because, I mean, we never have, and we've got to the position that we're in, so surely really we should just carry on, like, you know, carry on what we're doing. Don't fix what ain't broken, you know. And yeah, if people want to say that, then awesome. I'm sure we'll try our best to live up to it, but hey, if we don't, then it's still all good. But yeah, I'm very, very, very honoured to be able to even hear that. But yeah, I don't think we'll be living up to it. I don't think we'll be letting that get to us too much. We're just gonna keep on being neck deep as we've always done, and just write songs that people can relate to, and hopefully find catchy enough to mosh to.
Oh, that's so awesome. I mean, going into 2018 then, you know, you've got a big US tour lined up. Kind of beyond that, like, we've already talked a lot about, you know, the way you've expanded the Neck Deep sound, and that, you know, you could go down any door now. Does it feel like, you know, this could go anywhere now, especially creatively? Does it feel like so many different doors are open for the band?
Absolutely, yeah. I think now we really do. We can kind of do whatever we want. We'll always be Neck Deep. I know we'll always be, you know, that our roots will always be there, you know, and we'll always kind of stick to our roots and stick to what makes Neck Deep. But yeah, absolutely. I think what happens next is well, if Peace and the Panic did all this for us, and Life's Not Out to Get You has done all this for us, then hopefully the next step is really going to make the difference. It's exciting. I can't put my finger on what it's going to be, but it's the Neck Deep. We'll fucking cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now we're pretty good.
Yeah, so that was our very special chat with Ben Barlow of Neck Deep, our Best British Band Rock Sound Award winners. Man, like, I love talking to Ben anyway. It was just so much fun to just be able to dive into this amazing year that this band have had. And as I say, I mean, we remember them when, and all you guys out there probably do as well, you remember them when they were just formed, and now they're one of the biggest rock bands around. It's crazy. So to dive into that was just fascinating. Huge shout out to Ben, the rest of Neck Deep. Amazing stuff. So before we go, awards.rocksound.tv, don't forget to go over there right now to pick up your Rock Sound Award bundle, to pick up one or all of our 10 exclusive limited edition covers featuring all 10 of our Rock Sound Award winners. Also featuring exclusive interviews, photos, posters from their Rock Sound Awards cover shoot, a 2018 calendar, a Rock Sound Awards sticker, the top 50 releases of 2017, so much more. So exciting. Awards.rocksound.tv, the Rock Sound Awards powered by EMP.co.uk. So great. Talk to us on social media. Let us know you're enjoying everything. So exciting to be able to be doing this. And tomorrow, we're spoiling you guys, there's going to be another feature-length chat with another one of our winners. We'll see you then, guys. Peace out.